Hi and welcome back. So here we are going to discuss the last two examples for today's lecture on the topic of intersection and union. And this will be the learning outcome. Okay, straight to example 5. We would like to represent the following interval on the real number line and state the type of the interval. So for A, how should we draw the number line is draw a straight line and then plot the number -1 and 4. Check the brackets. This bracket is a square bracket. Square bracket means it is a closed interval. So this is how you should draw the number line. And what is the type of this interval? We call this as a closed interval. The next question. What is this? This means less than. Less than. So x is between 2 and 5. But does it include number 2 and includes number 5? No, if it does include number 2 and 5, it would have something like an equal sign down here, like this, okay? So, how to draw the number line is first starting with a straight line, and then plot the number 2 and 5. Why is it 2 on the left side and 5 on the right side? It's because 2 is the smallest number and 5 is the larger number. So, what should we do at the endpoints? Should it be a dense circle? Or should it be an open circle or a whole circle? Okay, so it should be a whole circle or open circle because there's no equal sign here. And what's the type of this interval? We call this as open interval. Okay, next, C. This is the symbol for greater than and equal to 0. And this means x is an element of R, real number. So how should we plot this on the number line? The only number that we can see here is number 0, so just write number 0 there. And then, since there's an equal sign here, that means this is a dense circle. So draw a dense circle at 0, and then look at this arrow. It's going to the right, right? So imagine that you're drawing an extra line here. So it's going to be an arrow to the right. Okay, so from 0, an arrow to the right. What is the name of this interval? It is called as semi-open interval. What about the last question? This is -infinity to 3. Look at the bracket here and look at the numbers. The only number that we can see here is is 3. Okay, so is -infinity a number? Usually we do not write -infinity on the number line because -infinity is such a small number that we can't even write it on a number line because it's somewhere on the left, to the left, and further than that. Okay, so that's why logically we can't write it on the number line. Okay, so look at this bracket. It's a square bracket, so that means the circle should be dense circle. So write a dense circle on number 3, and then since there's a number or the infinity is on the left of 3, the arrow should be to the left of 3, like this. And what should we call this? It is a semi-open interval. Last example, solve the following using the number line. Okay, so what is this middle symbol? This is what we call as U or union. Okay, so how should we solve this is, first we start with a number line and then draw or write the numbers that you can see. There's 0, 4, 5, and 7. Make sure you write the numbers according the orders, starting from the smallest number to the larger number. Do not write this as 0, 5, 4, and 7 because number line must follow their order. Okay, so then you should look at the brackets. Look at the bracket next to 0. It's a square bracket, so that means it should be a dense circle at 0. And then look at 5. It's a parenthesis. It's an open bracket, so you should draw an open circle or a whole circle. And it should look like this. Dense circle at 0 and open circle at 5. And then look at the bracket next to 4. So this should be an open circle or whole circle, and 7 would also be the same. Okay? So this means a number from 4 until 7. And this means union, or also known as or, atau, semua. Okay? So, union means semua. So the union of all this would be starting from the first number that you see from the left until the last number that you see on the right. So that means the answer to this question is 0 until 7. So how to memorize this? Try to imagine that you have a stick person here. Okay, let me draw stick person here. Okay, so as long as this stick person does not fall down, okay, he may fall down here, but he can climb up here, right? So as long as this stick person does not fall down, that's where the answer should continue. Okay, so the final answer should be from 0 until 7. Okay, why is 0? Why does next to 0 has a square bracket? That's because here there's also a square bracket. I mean a dense circle. And here it's an open circle. We just follow the sign. You do not change that. Okay, right. So for B, what numbers do we have here? We see number -2, we see number 4, we see number 1. So just write those numbers, but make sure you follow the orders, starting from the smallest number to the largest number. Okay, then look at the symbols. This is less than and equal. Remember, if it's less than and equal, that means it should be a dense circle. So draw a dense circle at -2, and then draw a dense circle at 4. And then draw a straight line, like that. Okay? Then, here, this is one number. And there's no equal sign here. That means this is an open circle or whole circle. Remember, this is an arrow. Try to imagine that this is an arrow. Draw a line here, and the arrow is going to the right. So that means the open circle is on the number 1 here, and then the arrow is going to the right of 1. Like that. What is this symbol? This is what we call as AND, or also known as dan, or intersection, persilangan. So what is the persilangan or intersection between these two lines? if you can see what are the intersections, try to imagine that we are pushing the lines together. If you push the lines from the right side and from the left side, where do they meet? They only meet at the center, here, from 1 to 4. And what would be the sign at 1 and what would be the sign at 4? Just follow the signs at 1 and follow the signs at 4. So the answer would be from 1 to 4, an open circle at 1 because it's open here, and close at 4 because it's closed here. Okay, you can write like this, or you can also write it as 1 to 4 with the square brackets at 4. Okay, next, the last solution. We have 3 interval notations. So how should we solve this? We should solve it by looking at the first 2 intervals and then combine with the last interval. Okay, so the first step would be listing out the numbers 0, 4, 5, and 7 according to their orders, and then looking at the brackets. So at 0, it is a closed bracket. At 5, it's an open bracket. 4 is open. 7 is also open. And then this means union or what do you call that? Oh yeah, semua. So semua or all of this would be from 0 to 7. Remember the stickman? As long as the stickman does not fall, that's where your answer is, which is from 0 to 7. Okay? And then you take this answer and combine it with the last interval, which is 1 to 8. Okay? So you do the same steps like just now, but just drawing the interval for the solution that you got just now, which is 0 and 7. So just draw 0 to 7 and then 1 to 8. This symbol is known as and or intersection. Remember, persilangan. That means you just have to push on the left and right side and see where do they meet. And they meet only at this center from 1 to 7. So the final answer is just 1 to 7 with a closed bracket at 1 and open bracket at 7. And that's our last example. Please try out the exercises on the PDF given. Thank you.